We are doing a fun Valentine's pen today. So I know it's hard thinking about Valentine's Day already, considering Christmas hasn't even come yet, but you know, that's just how us crafters think. We always have to be a couple steps ahead. So that being said, let's dive right in. Okay, so obviously this comes in a kit. So in the kit, you are going to get the MakerFlo pen. We have the MakerFlo pens, and you'll get 2 of those. You are going to get the Love is a Battlefield glitter. You guys are going to love this glitter. This is a custom cut glitter. We just got it mixed up. Hey, Rachel, how are you? Hi, guys. Look at this beautiful glitter, you guys. Ugh. It doesn't get any better than this. So this is the new one. Love is a Battlefield. And this has the lovely fluff factor to it. So you are going to love it. You'll get the dowel rods and the pinch clips, everything you need to make this pen you are going to get in this kit. So you're going to love it. All right, you guys. So we are using Skim Coat today, obviously, for this pen. So that's the formula that we are going to use. So let's go ahead and get our dowel rod ready to go. So this is a 1/4 inch dowel rod. I usually just buff up the bottom with a little bit of tape, some painter's tape. And we are going to put our barrel right down onto that tape so that's nice and snug. We want it to be nice and snug on there. And that just helps us to kind of work through what we need to work through with this. Now you can do it more toward the tip if you want to, but you don't have to. It's completely up to you guys how you want to do it. So I'll kind of show you what it looks like on tape toward the tip. It really just comes down to preference, personal preference. This is what it looks like if you don't want to deal with that. So it just depends on how you feel comfortable doing it. All right, so let's go ahead and we are going to put some Skim Coat on our barrel here. I'm going to use the file folder method to coat our glitter, and then I'm going to use some parchment paper to lay that glitter down. Now this isn't a really harsh glitter. It's not a metallic glitter. It's very, very light and fluffy. So you're not going to have to do a lot to get it saturated, but I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. All right, so we're going in with our resin. We're going to do one line, spread that a little bit, and then we're going to do another line. These are also included in the kit, these finger cots. I know I already have nitrile gloves on. However, I am going to put these finger cots on also because it keeps my gloves clean and it keeps me from getting everything at my workstation sticky. It just makes it simple. So we're gonna go ahead and get that on. We're gonna add a little bit more. I usually do 1.5-ish lines on these barrels. These barrels are a little bit, I feel like they're a little bit bigger than your typical like Papermate or S-Gel. You don't have as much real estate there. You have a lot more real estate with the MakerFlo pen barrels. So I always add a little bit more resin to it. All right. So once you get a nice even coat, we're going to twirl this back and forth a few times. Just to make sure that it levels out nice and easy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put these on just to give me a little time to get my glitter ready and get my finger caught off. I just love using those because it makes it hands-free for me. That's always a good thing. All right, so I'm going to bump this out of the way a little bit. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to open this glitter up. Let you guys gaze over that one more time. Look how pretty it is. All right, so let's go ahead and start coating our pen here. You guys are gonna love this. It's stunning. So this has like I said, it's custom cut. It's really, really fluffy. It's got a little bit of the pink in it, but I made it's a very, very light, so it's not really overwhelming on the pink, which is great. It's just enough. It's got Lady Marmalade in it, so if you guys know our glitter, those of you that know our glitter, you are going to know Lady Marmalade and you're going to love this. Let's go ahead and coat this. So I usually will sprinkle it on and then I will roll the pen in it. So we're gonna do both of that. We're gonna do both. And that just ensures that I'm getting it nice and covered. But you can see how the skim coat really pulls that color in. It pulls that glitter in and makes it have a really nice full coverage pen. That's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. All right, so I've rolled it in it. Now I'm gonna give it a couple taps. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a preview so you can see what it looks like. So pretty. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna lay this down for a second, and I'm getting some wax paper out so I can show you guys how I roll it to lay the glitter down. Now this is not very difficult to lay down because it's very light and very fluffy. It's very easy to work with. So I'm gonna set this aside. We're going to put our glitter back in our jar. So we can recycle it. All right, so I am curing this, and I'm gonna cure it for 2 minutes, and we're gonna kind of rotate it through. So I'm gonna put this on, and we're gonna cure this. All right, so I cut my vinyl on my Cricut, got it ready to go. We're gonna try to reverse weed. We'll see how that goes. I never know with this vinyl. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't. We just don't know. All right, so now I'm going to turn my pen, and I'm going to cure it one more time. So now that we've got this on, we're going to put another coat on right as soon as this comes out of the lamp. We're gonna use the UV resin skim coat, and we're gonna keep this train moving. Nothing major, just want to have no idea what I did wrong. Well, we are here to help you. All right, so this looks great. So now I'm going to take my glitter brush, and I'm just gonna lightly brush away any excess glitter. Let me move this out of my way. There we go. So this will just kind of brush away any excess glitter once you cure it. And the nice thing about this is that you're not mixing up any glitter that is not stuck to the pen. And see, what happens is a lot of times people skip this step, and then the glitter gets mixed up with the resin that they're coating, and then it leaves a bump, and they're like, why is the bump there? It's because there's extra glitter on here that shouldn't be. So just make sure that you're giving it a nice brush down when you're done. Now check this glitter out, you guys. Ooh, it's so nice, right? It's so pretty. This is gonna be awesome. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and we are going to apply the second coat of skim coat on here. You are very welcome. Going in with my UV resin skim coat. There we go. And just wait until you see how this glitter comes to life once you start adding resin to it. It's insane. You're gonna love it. It's so pretty. So I'm trying to come up with this something a little more challenging. I know we always recommend the microfines, and I wanted something in between a microfine and a chunky so that it would be a little more of a challenge for you guys, so you don't feel like it's the same level of experience when it comes to these kits. So this one, being that it is not really a chunky glitter, but it's kind of, you know, a medium. It's kind of in between a microfine because it's so light, and a chunky because it's going to have some flakes still. So this is a really good experience for learning how to sand your pen appropriately and apply your resin thin enough, that kind of thing. So hopefully you guys get good experience with this kit. It is quite awesome. All right, so I am rotating my pen now, and I'm going to cure it now that I have this coat on, and then we will sand it after. But before I do that, one thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my flush cutters, and I am going to kind of chip away at this right here before I cure it, because I don't want it sticking to the pen barrel. And the reason is, when it does that, it can lift up the resin, and then you've got to do touch up, and I am all about not doing that. So now that that is done, we're going to go ahead and cure this bad boy. So I'm going to do 120 seconds, and then I'm going to turn my pen and do another 120 seconds. All right, so the pen is done, and you can see it is fully cured already. Fully cured. Amazing. Amazing. So I'm going to use the drill to sand. Now you can put a piece of sandpaper around the pen if you want. You certainly don't have to. What I typically do is get a paper plate or a styrofoam plate, which I'm going to grab right now. I'm going to take my clamps off. We're going to feed our dowel rod right into our drill here. Now I usually try to use a smaller dowel rod because it's really hard to do on a bigger one. All right, so I have just some plain old water here. What I typically do is I use a piece of sandpaper. But we're just gonna put some water on here, and I'm gonna put a little bit of water on here. And the reason I do this is because it will keep the dust to a minimum. So just remember, you want to reduce that dust at your workstation. You don't want that dust at your workstation. The less dust, the better. So you're gonna have less wobbling on your pen also if you have a shorter dowel rod. So if you can use a shorter dowel rod, I recommend it. Even if you're breaking one or sawing one of them in half. And just kind of smoothing this out. We don't sell the buffing blocks, but you can get them at any hardware store. So I'm going to show you the difference between the sanding on this. Now, I've seen a lot of people doing this. I highly, 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 highly recommend, if you're going to keep the longer dowel rod, to use a piece of sandpaper. Just plain old sandpaper. This is what I like. This is my method. This is the easiest way, I think, to do it. Because ideally you just want it smooth. You want to dull it down. It's almost like you're taking the finish off. But trust me, I know it's scary and it feels like, oh my gosh, maybe I am taking the finish off, but I can assure you, you're not. So you can see we're getting closer. Getting closer. It's so pretty. Now, I will tell you, you're definitely going to need a little more sanding with the chunky or medium to chunky glitter. So just keep that in mind. I might need, let's see, since I can't find my blue tape, which is going to make me crazy. Oh, here it is. I'm like, I know it's here at my workstation. I just used it. It is 180. It's a 180 grit. Hello. Welcome. Welcome in. I try to bulk up the bottom of it here. Here, so I can show you guys. This is so much easier to show you than tell you. So this needs a little bit more. And then what I do is I usually just try to fit that barrel right on top of there. Kind of squeeze the tape to fit it. The more secure you can get it, the easier it's going to be when you're sanding. So you just want to kind of smush that top. You're welcome. Like that. I am taking my pen and I'm holding my sand block over it and I'm spinning it, and that's how I'm sanding it, so that I don't have to sit here and buff it. All right, so let's go ahead and get our flour in there. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like right now. See all the bubbles that came to the top? It's mostly from the middle of the flour. So this is why I do this, because otherwise what happens is you put your flour into the piece and then it gets the bubbles in the piece. So I'd rather the bubbles be in the cup and get rid of the bubbles before I put the flour in. You just have to be really careful during this part. So what I typically do is I will dump some of this out. And you can do it in a mold if you want to reuse the resin. And then carefully with your tweezers, lift out. You want to lift this out. And remember, here's the one thing I want to tell you guys. This is a backwards, just like every other mold, it's backwards. So you're going to put the flour in backwards. And then we're going to take it and we're going to press it down and let the resin here flow on top to bury it. And then his little head is going to be our showcase here. Now, I did not fill the mold. I did not fill it all the way. Otherwise, you're going to get runnage. So make sure you don't fill it. So you can kind of let more resin in from the sides. Now we're going to add more resin. All right, so we've got that in. We're going to hit it with the lighter one more time, get rid of any bubbles. Just one little flower petal. Even though the back isn't seen, I still try to get rid of any extra debris that might be there. All right. Now I'm gonna bring this over so I can clean up my mess at the same time. Now we're going to move a little bit quick. See how it comes back to life? It comes back to life right away. So don't be scared to sand down your pen, because you want it to be dull. That's how you get rid of any bumps, imperfections. The chunky glitter, I expect you to sand a little bit more with this glitter because it's got more texture to it. It's not going to be as simple as cut and dry. It takes a little more work, guys. All right, check it out, you guys. That is beautiful, right? Beautiful. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and cure this at the same time as my bear, and then we'll pull that little bad boy out. All right, so there's our pen. Look how pretty. All right, so let's take it off of our barrel, check down in the barrel, see if there's any resin that needs to be cleaned up. We're going to use our deburring tool and go right inside the barrel and make sure we got any leftover resin that might be lingering. I use this also to clean my cups, my tumblers, the top of them, the rim. It works awesome. I blow air down the barrel. And now I'm going to show you guys how to put it back together. Okay, so here is the Makerflo pen. See the stylus on there. And all you're going to do is just slide the barrel right onto the top. Take this bottom part and you're going to screw it in and it's so much easier to do without gloves on, but I'm making it work. And there is your pen. There's your pen, and let's put some clay on and our little saying if you want. So I'm going to show you what to do if you want to add vinyl, because you'll need one last coat if you do. So if you're not adding vinyl, then you can just seal this up and you can actually put your clay on after. Here's my vinyl. All right, so we are going to do minimal clay, just a couple pieces so I can show you guys how to do it. You can do it with skim coat or original, doesn't really matter either way. They will work, either one will work to adhere the clay. You can put it on before or after, doesn't really matter. It's totally up to you, before or after you assemble it, I mean. I tend to do it before, but you guys can do it either way. It doesn't really matter. All right, so I'm going to show you just an idea just of how to do it. So we're just going to put a little bit right here, a little bit of resin, and we're going to use a silicone brush. We're going to put some lips on the top of this. Oh. All right here. And usually what I will do, since you're rotating it and you don't want your clay sliding around, is I will use a flashlight, a UV flashlight, to set it. And that way you don't have to worry about it sliding around too much. So this clay comes in the kit too. And I literally just cut the vinyl on my Cricut for it. But you guys kind of get the idea here. Okay, so now that I have it set, you guys can see all my little lips on there. Now I'm gonna cure it under my lamp to give it a full cure.